Today we're driving the all-new 2021 Nissan Rogue. This is an SL front-wheel drive. So it's about $33,000, including destination. Rogue starts around 25 grand and competes with the likes of the Mazda CX-5, the Toyota RAV4, a very competitive segment with a lot of really good offerings. Nissan has completely redesigned the Rogue for the 21 model year. We have a 181 horsepower inline four-cylinder, makes also 181 pound-feet of torque. That is a 2.5 liter engine that's mated to a continuously variable transmission, Nissan's Xtronic CVT. This new Rogue is supposed to look a little bit sharper, look a little bit more premium. It rides and handles better, it's a little bit quicker. They've made measurable improvements in just about every aspect. Let's walk you around this thing today, take it for a drive. We'll do a sound system test at the end of this video. As you can see, it's a little bit chilly out. We've got some frosted panels on top, so I will keep the walk-around part brief. We've got a pretty spacious back area, nice low loading height. Got some cool little solutions here for cargo where you can raise and lower the height of the whole cargo compartment. Right now the floor is raised up slightly just to make the rear seats a flat surface. You can fold them down very easily. As you can see, there is a ton of space in the back of this Rogue. Something unique to this Nissan Rogue is that it does have rear climate control and some rear window shades, which is pretty nice in this class. We've got a lot of legroom in the back seat, tons of space. Of course, Nissan's typical stadium seating where you can almost see over the front seats. Being in the back seat is actually quite a pleasant experience, especially with climate control. No heated seats or anything, but it's very comfortable. I have lots of headroom. This beautiful panoramic sunroof gives me a pretty nice view. Very nice place to be. You can see so they've changed some design elements on the interior, added a more premium fit and finish and feel to the cabin. We've got this new kind of squared off steering wheel that I think actually looks pretty cool, but more modern and edgy. Overall, I think a pretty attractive cabin. Even in this SL trim, it looks quite good. Getting in and out is super easy. Excellent ingress and egress. There you go. Not much to see or hear, but this is just a good daily driver, a nice commuter car. Doesn't excel in any aspect, but really, for the people buying this, they don't really care about driving enjoyment or sporty feel, and this Rogue just delivers a nice overall experience. It's easy to live with, the tech is well integrated, Nissan's ProPilot Assist works incredibly well, steering assist is great, radar cruise is really nicely calibrated, we have blind spot monitoring, forward collision warning, all the good safety stuff that you would expect out of a modern Nissan product. And nice ergonomics, lots of buttons and knobs for everything. Climate control is really easy to adjust. You have dials for this, no silly digital touchscreens. You have a heated steering wheel, heated seats, and the shifter's kind of weird in that you pull it forward to go in reverse, but you get used to it. Press the P button to park. We have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and also the option for wireless, which is cool. Plug that in. The infotainment screen is pretty responsive. It's a nice looking display. No complaints there. You do have a home button, which is nice. This is responsive, easy to use. There's not a bunch of stuff hidden within the menus here, just kind of all your essentials and necessities. There we go, easy. Up here we've got a sunglass holder, sunroof controls, pretty nice sliding visors. It even says that it slides here. A lot of sun blockage on those bright sunny days. Pretty deep storage area down there, lined with little carpet material on the bottom so things don't rattle around. Got a few different drive modes, Sport, Standard, and Eco. Nissan Rogue. Let's take this thing for a drive and see what it's like on the road. The heated steering wheel does feel quite nice. It's a good level of heat. It's not scalding my hands. And it seems like pretty much the entire rim is included in the heating element. This is a pre-production car, so we're going to get a few more shakes and rattles on this than we would normally. But overall, I would say this new Rogue drives pretty well. I mean, it's kind of what you've come to expect from Nissan. It's got a CVT. They've quieted the drivetrain down a little bit. It's not whirring away as much as it used to. There's a little bit more torque here, so you don't have to feel like you're flogging it everywhere. Handling is actually surprisingly good. There's a nice amount of rotation from this Nissan Rogue. I don't feel like there's a lot of understeer. The steering is quite nice for a crossover. It's direct, it's responsive. Definitely not the most inspiring drivetrain. I do wish Nissan would get away from CVTs at some point. But for most people's use, they're okay. The throttle isn't the most linear calibration. You can kind of get an unpredictable amount of power out of it sometimes. You don't really know what's going to happen when you put your foot down. But it's easy to modulate, easy to adjust. At least it's not a turbocharged engine. The naturally aspirated 2.5 liter is pretty torquey and pretty progressive once you kind of get used to driving this car with the CVT. On the highway, wind noise is kept to a minimum. Not a lot of tire noise. Pretty comfortable. Ride quality is really nice, especially at higher speeds. Brake pedal feel is natural and consistent. We've got a pretty bumpy road here. A few little rattles and shakes on the interior, but for the most part, a lot of your bumps and heavy impacts are kept at bay. Warning me there that I'm following a little bit too close. Outright grip is actually pretty impressive. The suspension just kind of settles in, and once it does, you've got a good amount of traction around a corner. Not a ton of power here, but it gets you up to speed just fine. And there's enough torque from this 2.5 liter that you don't really feel like you have to be flogging it to get anywhere. Let's test out our steering assist. This is a really nice system from Nissan. They've done a great job with their ProPilot Assist. Keeps you very well centered in the lane. It prompts you every few seconds to keep your hands on the wheel. But for the most part, if you keep a hand on, you won't get too many reminders. The radar cruise works really well. It's very nice at progressively blending speeds. If you're in traffic, someone cuts you off, it won't slam on the brakes. It'll just kind of gradually ease off the throttle. You can skip 5 mile an hour increments by holding the up and down buttons, or 1 mile an hour by just clicking it. Nissan gets a lot of flack on YouTube for their CVTs and for their powertrains, but there are some things that they do a really nice job with. And for an all-new, redesigned car, I do appreciate that they've stuck with simple, reliable, relatable ergonomics in this new Rogue. I mean, you get into this thing and you immediately know how to use everything in the car. It's just very intuitive, it's well laid out. Everything is labeled clearly and placed where you think it should be placed. The only thing that's kind of weird is that the center digital menu always kind of reverts to the driver assistance page whenever you engage ProPilot Assist. So if you want to see your fuel economy or your tire pressure or any other thing, you always have to manually go back to that, which is a bit strange. While we're just sitting here, let's go in and do a sound system test. See what this Bose audio is like. it's a pretty decent sound system. It's not one of Bose's best in-car units, but I think for the price, for the extra premium sound, I think most people will be pretty happy with it. It's funny, Bose is kind of a hit or miss with in-car audio. Mazda's doing a really good job with it in their new CX-30 and the new Mazda 3, but in some other cars, it's not as mind-blowing or as amazing, but it's still a decent system. Probably an improvement over the standard unit. So how can we sum up this new Nissan Rogue? Well, I think it's a nice overall car. I mean, there's nothing here that's really compelling or really enticing. It offers a lot of nice features. It's a good size. It's relatively efficient. It's about 35 miles to the gallon on the highway, around 27 in the city. The front-wheel drive nature of this Rogue is really nice and really agreeable. I think it's actually a very good front-wheel drive system. It puts the power down really well. There isn't a ton of torque and power to begin with, but honestly, I don't really know if I'd swing for an all-wheel drive Rogue. I think it's just kind of unnecessary with this 181 horsepower and a CVT. You get much better efficiency with a front-wheel drive platform, and I don't know, I think this is kind of the way to go. It's a good front-wheel drive car. It handles well. It feels kind of more nimble and light on its feet. Let's show you guys what this looks like in the dark here. We'll go through this parking structure here. You can easily switch between day and night mode on your screen, which is fantastic. I love that. You just press this button and it'll go from bright to dark, and you can adjust manually. So many cars at night, you're blinded by the infotainment screen, and in this Nissan, you can just quickly turn everything down at a moment's notice if the car doesn't do it automatically already. So I do like that a lot. I think negatives, definitely the powertrain is not my favorite. I do wish Nissan would do something with hybrid drivetrains and just kind of smooth out the throttle linearity in their CVTs. I know it's kind of a difficult ask because of the nature of a CVT, but when you're just putzing around town normally, it's pretty smooth. It's actually very smooth, but when you give it just a little bit more acceleration, there's kind of this dead spot in the throttle where it gives you nothing and then it gives you everything, and that can get a little bit jerky sometimes. But for the most part, this is a perfectly acceptable vehicle to drive, and I think most people would be very happy with this new Nissan Rogue. Alright guys, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. We will also be coming out with some more videos on this Rogue on the Winding Road Magazine YouTube channel and on the Daily Motor YouTube channel. If you want to see what else I'm up to when I'm not filming cars, check out my Instagram at TheTopher2. And yeah, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later. One thing Nissan didn't do with this new Rogue is update the key. They've been using this for about 2 decades now. And you know what? It's small, it works. Definitely due for a refresh, though.